Hey y'all, welcome back to the Parent Porch podcast where real parenting meets healing. I am Dom, the Uncaped Mama, and today we're getting into something that I think is powerful, and it's how mindful parenting doesn't just change your kids, it changes you. Now, if you missed episode one, pause, go back, because we're going through the Mindful Parent ebook chapter by chapter so I can support you. I'm not giving you all the content that's in the ebook. I'm giving you supportive information that will really bring it home, bring it off the pages. And so you'll want to have the book along with this. And you also definitely want to start with episode one so that you'll know what we talked about there and it will help this episode make more sense. I also want to tell you right now, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And also want you to go to parentporch.com/shop. That is where you will find the Mindful Parenting ebook. Okay. Now, I want to go deeper into what we talked about last time because when you parent with mindfulness, it's not just something that supports your kids, but there's something inside of you too that gets supported. And it goes way beyond routines and tantrums. So we're going to get into it. And I want you to know that what we're doing here at Parent Porch is helping parents with their energy, saving you like all the decisions that you have to make, and really just helping you to get to a space where there is more happiness, more calm, but also less shame, where you're not beating yourself up because things aren't picture perfect, because parenting is not picture perfect. All right. I have my notes here. Also, if my voice sounds weird, I am visiting my family in the Midwest. I live in Texas, but I'm visiting my family in the Midwest, and my allergies are really kicking my butt today. But I wanted to make sure that I got this recorded so we can get this out, especially if you've seen episode one and you've been waiting on this episode. All right. So, have you ever felt like you were like stuck in a loop, especially in parenting, where you wake up tired, you're already overstimulated, you say something that you don't mean to say. It's either sharp or hostile, maybe you yell, your child reacts, then the guilt hits, then the spiral. That loop. It doesn't change just because your kid gets older and matures. It changes when you do. And this is not to shame you. I think we've all felt this. And there's a lot of information on the internet right now about mom guilt and mom shame. And I've been talking about it on my personal profile, Uncaped Mama. All the ways that moms get shamed, and probably not even all of them, but a lot of the ways that you experience this shame and this guilt, and it gets heavy and you get stuck in this loop. I want to help us get out of that. And I believe that the second chapter in the Mindful Parenting ebook really starts to get at that. So, Dr. Becky Kennedy, who is a psychologist and author of Good Inside, says we cannot teach our children to regulate their emotions if we're not regulating our own. And mindful parenting is the invitation to get out of this loop, step out of it, leave it behind, and become the calm that you want to pass on, or become the strength and the presence that you want to pass on, the humanity that you want to pass on, the dignity that you want to pass on. We ultimately are trying to raise great humans, but they've got to see it modeled, right? So it's okay for them to see you make a mistake. It's how you repair it, it's what you're doing in that process, and how you're talking about it with your family, particularly your kids. So most of us come into parenting because we want our kids to feel safe and seen and supported. And somehow along the way, sometimes really quickly, we realize, maybe I didn't really have that myself. And that's really the hidden gift. Mindful parenting doesn't just heal your kids, it heals what I would say backward. It touches your childhood wounds, your nervous system, your self talk, your internal like thought patterns, things that you believe about children and parenting and the world and how you should parent. All of that is in there. And so I want to provide some more research insight that helps. According to the Journal of Child and Family Studies, mindful parenting is linked to lower stress levels, fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety, and caregivers themselves end up feeling better. Right? You're starting to do some healing, and so are your children. And so while you're trying to show up for your kid, it's helpful to be mindful because I want you to show up for you too. And that's really what we're all about here is helping you feel equipped, right, in your parenting. There's no right way to do it. I believe there are millions, maybe billions of ways to be a great parent. And no one has a rule book. So you get to do this yourself. You get to create this yourself with insights, with expertise, with even working on yourself and healing yourself to decide what feels like me, what makes sense for me, and the uniqueness of me and my children and my household and my finances and where we live and cultural customs, religion, all those things. Here are 5 hidden benefits of mindful parenting. One is emotional awareness for you, the parent. You start noticing your own emotions more, not just your child's. You realize, I'm not angry. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm not annoyed. I'm overstimulated. Quick example, it's when I have toddlers who are 2 and 3. And so when I snap at them for throwing something, the mindful moment reveals I haven't eaten. And I'm trying to rush to get something done. They've thrown something, which toddlers do, right? Until we get them to the place where we don't throw things because we can break them or they can hurt you or other people. But if I'm hungry, there's a lot going on in my body that's dysregulated. And so I haven't eaten, the noise is high, stuff's getting thrown. I'm trying to multitask, which I'm not good at. And the awareness of, that's everything that's going on changes my next move. What I might do is take a deep breath, grab a snack really fast, and while I'm eating the snack, go and address the thrown toy or the thrown cup in a way that's a little bit calmer so that I don't have to keep snapping because I don't like to snap. I don't like to yell. It does not feel good in my body to do that. So that's one, emotional awareness for you. The second, regulation without guilt. So mindful parenting gives you this permission to say, I need a second, without spiraling into shame or guilt. So self-regulation is not about having fewer emotions or never feeling emotions, but it's about knowing what to do when you feel them. And that's a quote from Dan Siegel, a psychiatrist and author of The Whole Brain Child. Right? 3, the third hidden benefit is your inner child gets a voice. And you may hear about inner child all the time, but that's you, the child version of you. It didn't leave, right? It doesn't go away because you've matured or you've grown up. The things that were there and got solidified into who you are as a child is still there. And so when you validate your inner child, when I validate inner Dom and say, it's actually okay for you to be frustrated. Like, you're a human, you're allowed to be frustrated. I'm affirming the part of me that didn't get that grace growing up, where like I didn't get to be frustrated in this moment because I needed something to be handled. Or maybe during the times where I didn't have the words to say, I'm overstimulated, I'm anxious, I'm scared, I don't feel well. And you can't see it, but I'm having something going on. It's a migraine, right? Or whatever. And I'm able to affirm that part of me, that it's okay. And then you'll start to realize, oh, maybe when those things happen, I wasn't getting many apologies, if any, as a child. Maybe that didn't happen. And here I am, like modeling repair for my child, apologizing to myself and showing them that too, and apologizing to them. That's super powerful, right? That's important because it helps you to realize it is okay to apologize to yourself, and you should. It is actually okay to apologize to your child. You should, when there are like mistakes or things that happen that you don't like, and it shows them that is okay throughout their life. And so they can start to do that with their friends, with their teachers, with their colleagues, with their teammates, with their neighbors outside, all of those things. And even with each other if you have multiple children. All right, so the fourth hidden benefit is stronger boundaries without guilt. So mindful parenting helps you say no with clarity. You stop like being performative and doing what you think you're supposed to do in parenting, and you start protecting your peace. That's a popular saying, right? You're protecting your peace. Saying, I'll talk to you when you're ready to be respectful versus yelling or giving in, right? Or you need a minute. You don't even realize you need a minute, especially with toddlers. They don't always realize they need a minute. I'm going to give you a minute. gather your emotions, and while you're doing that, I'm gathering mine, and I'll be back in literally a minute, because that's a really long time for a toddler. I'll be back in a minute. We can figure out what's happening here. It works. Sometimes, like, it's frustrating. Sometimes you're like, is this going to work for these toddlers? It does. It will. And they will get used to that, especially as they grow up. That will be a habit. That will be a practice that happens, that like pausing and recognizing something's going on with me and I need a minute to figure out what's happening. And then when I'm ready, that's teaching them reflection, but also showing them boundaries, because they may have a moment in time where they're like, I know when we get home, we talk about these things, but I'm really tired, Mom. I need a minute. Dad, I need a few minutes, and then I'll come talk to you. And then the fifth benefit is more joy in the mess, because there are messy moments. Every moment's not messy, but there are messy moments. When you stop trying to control everything, which is a big thing that I have to work on, you notice more of the beauty, like the giggle before the tantrum, the softness or the light in their eyes when they see you, the way you get to laugh and play again, the jokes you get to make, the songs you get to create, the dance parties, the jump parties, the peaceful night's rest, the gratitude that you end up having, the way you're allowed to say that wasn't a big deal. And it's okay. We can move on from that. We can try something else new later or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year or whatever that is. And Marianne Williamson says, joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things really are. Like, you really get to see how good things are. And I was stuck in a space for the first full 2 years of parenting where it was like, it's so messy, it's so hard, and I feel so much guilt. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to traumatize my children. I don't want to harm them, but I also don't want to look soft to other people. And people are giving me advice I didn't ask for, but I'm trying to make it seem like I know what I'm doing. And now I'm like, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. The world is changing. Your kids are changing. You are changing. You are healing. And we are literally like preparing ourselves and our kids for a world that we don't know exactly what it looks like in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. We're going through this together. And so you deserve more joy and happiness, and so do your children, right? So those benefits of those hidden benefits of mindful parenting, again, are emotional awareness for you, regulation without guilt, your inner child gets a voice, stronger boundaries without guilt, and then you get more joy in the mess. And so I want to take us through an activity. I did this when we talked about chapter 1. I want to have us pause together right now. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to grab anything. Just breathe. And I'm going to guide you through a quick reflection. You can look down or soften your gaze towards something. You can close your eyes in this moment, whatever works for you. And I'm going to read these questions out for you just to think about. What emotion has been showing up a lot for me lately? What emotion has been showing up a lot for me lately? How do I usually respond to it? Fight, freeze, fawn, or flee? How do I usually respond to that emotion that is showing up for me? Fight, freeze, fawn, or flee? What would it look like to sit with the emotion instead of pushing it away? What would it look like to sit with it instead of pushing it away? So that's a practice, a quick reflection that you can come back to as much as you want to. And it's one that we break down even deeper in chapter 2 of The Mindful Parent. So you'll get to go even deeper into that practice. But that reflection is awesome. And even your kids knowing that you're reflecting, this is something you can start to teach them as you've done this enough and as you feel like it becomes age appropriate and you start teaching them emotional regulation. Same things. This is something they can journal. This is something they can speak out loud in conversation. This is something that you can have a family meeting and everybody talk about these things. If it's something big that happened, try it. These like quick moments of reflection, the more you practice it, the better you get with the practice and the more you're just aware of what's happening in the moment and you can make a decision about what do I want to do next. You can also pick up on, is there something that's been happening that I'm not even addressing, that I didn't realize I'm not addressing, right? So Try that. Let us know in the comments how that feels, what you come up with, whatever you're willing to share. We love to get comments, especially as you are working through this. Also, definitely feel free to share that with other mom and dad friends or foster parents or adopted parents. Anyone who's a parent can benefit from this. And this is parents of all ages, even if you have adult children. You're still a parent. And so while your children are still here, you can continue to grow and to heal and to get better and be the parent that you want to be. Like, this doesn't end when they potentially move out of your house. You can always be doing this. So, biggest thing to take away is you're not just raising emotionally aware kids, you're becoming more emotionally aware as well. And that is really the work of mindfulness. It's not self-indulgent. This is like the legacy work that we talk about, especially when people are talking about breaking generational curses or how they want to show up as a parent. This really is it. Because what you make your kids feel in your presence, the calm, the repair, the grace, the forgiveness, the safety, that is what stays with them. When we talk about kids who are going like no contact with their parents as adults, when you listen to those stories, or if you've been through that yourself, it is because maybe they didn't experience much calm, repair, grace, flexibility, apologies, and those sorts of things. You want them to experience that with you, right? Children learn more from what you are than what you teach. And that comes from W.E.B. Du Bois. And it's true. A lot of my mindsets come from what I saw my mom and grandma and aunts and great grandma do. That's how I developed a worldview of, oh, this is what the world is like, until I got to a certain age and I'm like, okay, I don't know anything. I got some stuff to like really unpack because I either was like not aware of certain things, or I assumed certain things, or there are certain things that were so ingrained that get repeated in your mind every day that you're not even picking up on, that drive how you show up in the world, and that trickles down to your parenting and relationships and how you interact with other people. Super important there. So I want you to grab your phone or a journal and answer these questions after this episode, okay? So I'll give you a second. You're welcome to screen record this part so you can come back to it when you've got a couple of minutes of reflection time. Here's question 1. Where have I seen growth in me since becoming a parent? Where have I seen growth in me since becoming a parent? 2, what's one way I could treat myself with more compassion this week? What's one way I could treat myself with more compassion this week? 3rd, what did my inner child need that I now give my own children? What did my inner child need that I now give my own children? Okay. All right. I hope you enjoyed the practice and the reflection we've done and everything I've discussed here. This episode is just a taste, like high level of what chapter 2 of the Mindful Parent explores. So, if you're ready to regulate without guilt and connect with your children without losing yourself, like still being a whole human being yourself while raising whole human beings, and heal while you raise your kids, absolutely grab the full ebook. All right, you can download it at parentporch.com/shop, or just go to parentporch.com, click on the menu, click shop. It is right there. Okay. We will have shirts and more merchandise coming for you and your children. Make sure that you like and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. Go back and watch some of our other podcast episodes, especially with our guests. Also, make sure you're following us on TikTok, Facebook, and of course here. And soon our Instagram will be back. So be prepared to follow us back on there as well. All right. In the ebook, just want to remind you, you're going to get journal prompts and connection exercises similar to what I'm doing here, but different. And also just like deep support that hopefully meets you where you are without like pushing you to be perfect, just helping you along the way. And by the way, if this episode helped you at all, if you feel seen and supported, send this to a parent who needs this. Leave us a comment, subscribe, of course, and let's keep building this community of parents, of real parents, having real experiences with real children, having real healing. Okay? All right. By the way, you're not behind. you're becoming, and you're doing a great job. You really are. All right, we'll see you next time.